guys. How are you?
Morning. How are you? How are you?
Excellent. And you guys, what's that, Mel?
I gotta say, I don't know which one's the father and which one's the son.
I get that so often.
I love that. That's awesome. That's an amazing thing. That's a compliment.
Kevin and Chris own a company called Mac Safety, and you guys are doing a little bit of a spin on your business based on the COVID-19 and the coronavirus. Let's start by saying, what is Mac Safety? What do you do when we're not in the middle of a pandemic?
So we are a group of 73 safety consultants placed all around the country, working with large general industry and construction, and we basically are out there making sure that people stay safe and avoiding and assessing and mitigating all risk possible.
So basically, so your company goes to whatever the site is and says, how can we keep people safe, no matter what type of workspace it is?
That's right. So if it's internal employees, if it's the public, whomever it may be, we're trying to mitigate risk as best as possible on a day-to-day basis and make sure that people are first and foremost identifying it so that we can prevent it.
Wow. So, and you're a local company based out of Beaver, right?
We are.
And I saw on your website when I was doing a little research on you guys, how many different states do you currently operate in?
Right now, 27, but we have 9 locations all over the place. So we're constantly, it's Florida today, Pittsburgh tomorrow, Boston the next day, and we're kind of moving all throughout as we go, and we're just trying to, really be able to rally to certain points as a group and as a team, and let that crowdsourcing kind of make us better across the board.
And since what you do is you mitigate risk and you try to keep people safe in the work environment, what are you doing based on the coronavirus? Because eventually we're not all going to be broadcasting from our bedrooms or from our kitchens in Ross Draver. We're going to have to go back to work. And so what is your company doing to try to bring people back to work and in a safe manner?
No, I think that's a great point. I think where we have started and where we're going to is to provide hope and provide guidance and work within the guidelines to make it a safer place for not only the workers, but the employer, the employee, the general public, the consumer, whoever that may be, and kind of provide those internal protocols that allow for people to come back in a safe manner and not with the thought or with the nervousness of what's next, kind of almost providing those solutions before someone has the next question.
Let me ask you this. Do you do, I know in person, but now things are a little different. So is there a lot of online, virtual?
Yeah, so in the past probably 12 months, we've actually been building and utilizing, we have great institutions here in Pittsburgh, and we've been utilizing a lot of prior students from Carnegie Mellon. We build, algorithm-based and virtual-based assessments, observations, audits through our tool called NIXN, and it's kind of enabled us to be in our office and still be able to, perform risk assessments, to be with all of our guys that are still working and continue as we best can, and really create feedback loops.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking to Kevin and Chris. Chris's dad, Kevin's the son. The company is Mac Safety, and we're going to talk to them when we come back next about some things that we can do to go back to work safely once the whole pandemic is over. 7 Star Bubble Show, morning hits all day when you wake up. Let's get into the habit of walking downstairs and telling our smart speakers to turn on 100.7 Star Mac Safety. And by the way, what is your website in case people want to go look at it right away to see everything that you do?
MacSafety.com, MacIntel.io. Those are our 2 sites. They kind of hold the 2 different entities of what we do and how we do it.
So let's use our radio station as an example, right? So let's say Entercom Pittsburgh, which has us, Y108, 93.7 The Fan, and News Radio 1020 KDK. Give me an example of some of the things that we can do when we all get recalled to work based on your protocols to create a safe work environment following the COVID-19 pandemic?
Right. So we basically have built it into 3 pillars that we really want to work with, and that's PPE, that's cleaning solutions, and then that's behavior-based solutions. And I think that to not overwhelm people, that's the 3 pillars that you really want to lean on throughout this process. You know, so you want to make people aware of new cleaning protocols and what that looks like, new PPE protocols when we enter the building, what that looks like, and then behavior-based protocols on what those look like. You know, the social distancing, the coughing into, you know, your elbows, all of those different things that we should have done before, but now we really need to do. You know, so those are the real 3 pillars to really, I think, lean on. And, you know, if you have questions, don't bear the entire burden yourself, because there are people out there that have digested the guidelines, have created protocols, and can help.
So you'll go into a business. Max Safety will go into a location, and you'll build it, and then you'll say, here's what you have to do. Now be prepared to operate. And, of course, people need to be working on this now, because I'm guessing if they say tomorrow we can reopen, it's probably a little bit too late to be doing it then.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you need to be currently is putting the pillars up, right? You know, and then from there you really want to be able to implement and execute. So day one, you need to be positioned to implement and execute, not just unveiling. You know, and that's really that's really what we're doing right now, is getting people through that unveiling stage of new protocols. You know, we're on Zoom meetings every day, basically, with general managers of different locations at restaurants, dentist office, hospitals, construction companies, anything you can think of. We're currently talking to them to get them through this first stage, so that they can figure out when the business unit starts, how do we then implement and execute that and document that we are doing all these things?
Because that's important also. You need to be able to show somebody what you're doing. If somebody were to walk in, you know, because there's going to be spot checks all the time. If you're just tuning in, this is Chris and Kevin. Their company is Max Safety. So if somebody's listening to Bubba's show right now and they own a business or they work for somebody and they want to reach out to you guys and bring you on board to help them out to get ready for it, how do they do that?
Through the web, macsafety.com, macintel.io, reach out. We'll be sure to get a hold of you, and we'll be able to quickly develop it and tailor something for your business. I think that the nervousness right now is in the hospitality industry. Everyone's kind of looking around like, we need people.
Yep.
You know, we need people here. You know, and I think that it's a big fear of a lot of the restaurants, a lot of the bars in Pittsburgh, but across the nation that we're dealing with right now, you know, and we're just trying to make sure that people don't feel the entire burden themselves, and they don't feel like they're doing this all alone, and they really have no guidance. These guidelines, you know, they're on purpose, they're made vague so that people can tailor them to their business unit.
Yep.
And that's what we really step in.
And that's what you guys do. You know, I read Melanie a statistic earlier this morning off the air. In the United States of America, 10% of the workforce, 10% of the total workforce in the USA works in a restaurant or bar, which is unbelievable to think about. Well, listen, guys, Kevin, Chris, Max Safety, do you mind if I share your links on all of our social media?
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. This is a Beaver County company that's helping companies all across America, and we're thankful that you took a couple minutes. Maybe we'll check in with you next week as we get closer. Maybe you can provide us tips every week on things that we could be doing.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much on 100.7 Star.
Powered by Bowser, where they're open for business at powerofbowser.com.